9 cognitive biases that will leave you amazed. In this video, we will discuss 9 cognitive biases. We will put each bias in a story to really engage the viewer with the content. This is a combination of entertainment and education. So here is a good question. Why do we need to understand cognitive biases? Well, understanding cognitive biases is crucial because they shape how we interpret information, make decisions, and perceive reality. Not understanding cognitive biases can make us more susceptible to bad decision making. So let's analyze this train of thought accordingly. Anchoring bias. Now, Jack was shopping for a new car and he had set a budget of $20,000. But when he arrived at the dealership, the first car the salesman showed him was a sleek sports model and it was priced at $45,000. Jack immediately knew it was far out of his price range, but the salesman assured him they had more affordable options. So the next car the salesman presented was $35,000. Now bear in mind, this is still over Jack's budget. But then he showed Jack a model priced at $25,000, which was closer to what Jack wanted to spend. Because Jack had seen 2 much more expensive cars, first the $25,000 suddenly seemed like a bargain, even though it was still higher than his original budget. So being anchored by the high prices he'd been exposed to, Jack felt that $25,000 was reasonable. He bought the car and he was happy. He was happy with the deal he got. But later he realized he spent more than he had planned to. The anchoring bias had skewed his perception of value, making a high price seem normal compared to the inflated starting point. Cognitive dissidence. Now, Professor James was a renowned philosopher, and he always argued that free will was an illusion that was deeply rooted in determinism. He taught his students that all actions were predetermined by prior causes, leaving no room for individual choice. However, when faced with a personal moral dilemma, James found himself making a conscious decision that felt entirely free. This experience created cognitive dissidence, the conflict between his philosophical belief in determinism and his personal experience of free will. He struggled internally, trying to reconcile the two. Eventually, James adjusted his views, admitting that while determinism might be real, human experience of choice is equally powerful, leading him to a more nuanced perspective on the issue. Confirmation bias. John was convinced that cardio was the only effective way to lose weight. He had read a few articles online that supported his belief, and he saw it as the ultimate truth. Whenever someone mentioned strength training or other forms of exercise, he dismissed them, saying cardio burns the most calories. Now at the gym, John stuck to the treadmill and he ignored the weights. He also followed social media accounts that promoted cardio-based workouts that reinforced his belief. One day his friend suggested trying weightlifting, explaining how it could boost metabolism and burn fat long term. John brushed it off, thinking, that's just not true. You see, his confirmation bias made him overlook evidence supporting other methods of fitness. It wasn't until he hit a plateau that John reluctantly tried strength training and was surprised by how much it helped. Still, it took him time to fully recognize that his belief had been biased all along. Egocentric bias. Now, Sally was a successful model, known for her striking looks and runaway presence. After landing a few big campaigns, she started to believe she was the main reason for their success. Whenever a project went well, she credited her talent, assuming her presence had made the difference. She rarely thought about the work of photographers, makeup artists, stylists, or the team. At a major fashion show, Sally noticed that another model received more attention than she did, even though they wore similar outfits. Feeling frustrated, she convinced herself it was just bad lighting or poor timing, never considering that the other model's unique appeal might have resonated more with the audience. You see, Sally's egocentric bias made her overlook the team effort in her successes and failures. It wasn't until a mentor pointed out to her how crucial collaboration is in the industry that she realized how much she had underestimated the contribution of those around her. Framing effect. Now, John was considering joining a gym and visited 2 locations. At the first gym, the manager said, "Our membership costs only £1,000 a year." John hesitated, thinking that was quite expensive. He then went to the second gym, and the manager framed it differently. For just £85 a month, you get full access to everything. John immediately felt more comfortable with the monthly payment, and he signed up on the spot, even though it amounted to more than the first year gym's yearly cost. The framing effect influenced John's decision. While £1,000 sounded like a big upfront cost, £85 per month felt more manageable, even though it totaled over £1,000 a year. By presenting the price differently, the second gym made it seem more appealing, and John chose the more expensive option without realizing it. Hindsight bias. Now, Sam invested in a tech startup after hearing mixed reviews. Now, initially, he was unsure, but he took the risk, and a few months later, the company skyrocketed in value. As he celebrated his success, Sam found himself thinking, "I knew it all along. It was obvious this company would do well." However, when his friend reminded him of his initial doubts, Sam brushed them off, confident he'd always knew the outcome. Sam was experiencing hindsight bias, believing the outcome was predictable after the fact, even though he had been uncertain when making the decision. In reality, the future had been far less clear. Authority bias. Now, Sam was looking to improve his diet and health, and one day he stumbled upon a video of a well-known celebrity endorsing a specific diet pill. The celebrity confidently claimed it was the secret to their fitness and weight loss. Despite having read articles about the risk of such pills, Sam trusted the celebrity's advice, thinking, "They must know what they're talking about." Without further research, Sam bought the pills and started using them. Weeks later, he experienced side effects and realized the product was not effective. Sam had fallen victim to authority bias, blindly trusting the celebrity's opinion just because of their status. Decision fatigue. After a long day at work, Sophia felt drained. She had more countless decisions at her job, from meetings to emails, and by the time dinner came around, her mental energy was depleted. Staring at a fridge filled with healthy options, Sophia couldn't muster the energy to plan or cook a balanced meal. Instead, she grabbed her phone and ordered a pizza, even though she had been trying to stick to a healthier diet. Sophia experienced decision fatigue, the overwhelming feeling from making too many decisions, and this led her to opt for the easiest, less taxing option, even though it didn't align with her long-term goals. Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, Tom took up guitar, and after learning a few basic chords, he felt like a pro. Confident in his abilities, he signed up to perform at a local open mic. On stage, he quickly struggled with complex transitions, forgetting the rhythm and making frequent mistakes. His actual confidence had far outpaced his actual skill. Now, afterwards, a seasoned guitarist gave him advice. Because Tom realized he had underestimated how much there was to learn, he had fallen victim to the Dunning-Kruger effect, where beginners overestimate their abilities due to limited knowledge. Humbled, he committed to practicing more seriously. So these were the 9 cognitive biases. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and I hope you enjoyed the content. Now, as some of you know, I have a social enterprise called Neuroexpression, which is about empowering neurodivergent people. If you want to know more about it, then why not download the free PDF called What is Dyspraxia from my website, and the link to that website will be in my description. Now, if you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, and watch the content. And with that being said, I sincerely hope this video provided value.